Well, it was a big week for the Democrats. Joe Biden picked Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. It gave that ticket a much-needed jolt of electricity.
Democrats will make that nomination official this week at their convention, which begins tomorrow, an unprecedented all-virtual gathering. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz chaired the Democratic convention 4 years ago, and she'll attend this one online and joins us right there via Skype from Weston. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning to you both.
So,
good to see you.
Thank you, same. So we'll talk about Kamala Harris and the convention, but we have some breaking news today, and I'm going to wing it. You are on the Oversight Committee in the House, yes? Great.
Yes.
So we have this letter to the new Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy. There is an urgent hearing now called before your committee Monday the 24th to examine, quote, your sweeping operational and organizational changes at the Postal Service, which could degrade delivery standards, etc., and impede everybody's right to vote. So let's start there with the post office concerns that are blossoming this week.
No, absolutely. I'm the only Florida Democrat that serves on the House Oversight Committee, and we have responsibility for the U.S. Postal Service and its policies. What the president has done is appointed one of his big donor henchmen as Postmaster General, and given him the assignment to essentially take a crowbar to the Postal Service, and very obviously, with the comments that the president has made over the last several weeks, with the direct intention of making it much harder for people to cast their votes by mail, and ensure that their ballot arrives on time to be counted.
So let me just ask you, because the post office prior to Postmaster General DeJoy has been having problems really since 2008, and a series of legal mandates made it even more difficult. So the financial issues were there already. And yet they're able to deliver millions of Christmas packages. And so why is this? It seems such a political statement to really make this about hampering the vote. Is the evidence there for that, really?
Absolutely. There's a very serious difference between the challenges that the Postal Service has had, which date back actually to 2006, when the George W. Bush administration required $75 billion of pre-funding their pension plan. And so it hamstrung the Postal Service fiscally, yet they didn't have any problem with getting the mail delivered to mailboxes on time, whether it was Thanksgiving, Christmas, or votes by mail. Now, what this new Postmaster General, appointed by Donald Trump intentionally to essentially sabotage the mail system, what he's done is he is removing mailboxes that are on the streets, obstacle to getting people's mail delivered conveniently. He's dismantling sorting machines, restricting overtime, changing the policy of ensuring that letter carriers can go back repeatedly until all the mail that has come into their facilities that day is delivered that day. And as a result, I'll tell you, Glenn, I've had business owners say to me who rely on the USPS for their invoices to be delivered. I was contacted by one business owner who has thousands and thousands of invoices that he relies on the Postal Service to deliver and that come in. His mail has slowed to a trickle. And veterans, I chair the committee that funds the VA's budget. Veterans have now faced really serious challenges getting their medication delivered that is delivered by the Postal Service. So it's deeply concerning, beyond the fact that the president has very obviously intentionally been trying to make it harder for vote-by-mail ballots to be arriving on time. In fact, and I'll stop right here, just yesterday, or on Friday, the Postal Service sent notice to 46 states in this country that they could not guarantee that, for the first time, that ballots sent by mail, based on the policies of all the states, would be able to arrive at their destination on time to be counted. That's outrageous and unprecedented, and a direct result of this Postmaster General, aka Donald Trump's intentional sabotage of the Postal Service. Yeah. He's trying to rig the outcome of this election by making it harder for people to cast their ballot in a pandemic environment.
Yeah. Congresswoman, if we can, let's move on to Kamala Harris. The Washington Post, ABC News, released a poll this morning, which is interesting. Let's put it up on the screen. The approval rating among Americans for this ticket is really overwhelming. 54% of Americans, not just Democrats, say they think this was a good choice. Only 29% disapprove. You know, it seems to me that she really gave Joe Biden and the ticket a jolt of electricity. What do you think?
Absolutely. The reason that Joe Biden is going to be elected our next president of the United States, Michael, is because the American people have confidence in him and confidence in his judgment. And the first major decision that he's making is his choice to run with him for vice president. Kamala Harris is the total package. She not only has been elected 3 times statewide in our country's largest state, she ran one of the largest attorney general legal shops in the entire world when she was Attorney General of California. She sits on the Senate Judiciary and Intelligence Committees. She has taken on the gun lobby. She's taken on the Kavanaugh and questioned him very effectively during his Supreme Court nomination fight. And this is just a 1-2 punch that is going to ensure a stark contrast between the disaster that Donald Trump and Mike Pence have been, and the confidence and capability that Biden and Harris will present to the American people. That's why people are excited about it.
We have already gotten a quick look at how the Trump administration and the Trump campaign is painting their criticism of Kamala Harris. They've already called her a radical liberal. They're calling her a coastal elite. How are you going to be getting around those criticisms?
Oh my God, just the same tired old playbook. Look, Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president, and the two of them together, with Joe Biden at the helm of helping us pull ourselves out of the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression during the Great Recession, Joe Biden was in charge of making sure that the full implementation of the stimulus bill that helped us trigger our recovery and have the longest sustained recovery until Donald Trump again took a monkey wrench to our economy, plunged us into record deficits by passing tax breaks for the wealthiest, most fortunate Americans, has intentionally been trying to actually get our access to health care program, Obamacare, thrown out as unconstitutional. I mean, the undermining of the quality of life of the American people has been single-handedly led by Donald Trump and Mike Pence, and that is the contrast that voters will have, to say nothing of the fact that during a pandemic crisis like we've had, Donald Trump has been a disaster. He refuses to use the full authority of the federal government to make sure that we can take care of a national testing program, which he refuses to implement, contact tracing, isolation programs, and now the virus is running rampant, particularly in our state, where nearly out of control, where we've not had rising unemployment, and our kids are about to mostly start school online because Donald Trump refuses to do his job and do it effectively and take care of people.
Congresswoman, ordinarily you would have been in Milwaukee last month with several thousand, 50,000 or so other people, conventioneers, delegates, the media for the Democratic National Convention. Instead, it's going to begin tomorrow online virtually. And, maybe these conventions are passé, but the one thing they do is they provide a platform for the president, vice president, and party stars to come on and state principles, make their pitch, make their sales pitch for the vote. How's that going to happen this time?
Well, it's going to happen nearly all virtually, and we have remarkable technological specialists, individuals who have led the putting together, the refurbishing and the reimagining of this convention, so that it is going to be incredibly exciting to watch, not only on broadcast television and cable, but live streamed, where you're going to really see incredible outreach across the 50 United States. I think it's going to give us a lot of opportunity to reach people who, may not have tuned in to the just hour or two of programming each night, and be a much more inclusive, really effective way of presenting the contrast between the choices of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and Mike Pence back to back in each week. I think I'm very excited about the opportunity, although it is heartbreaking and didn't have to be this way, by the way. We had plenty of time, had Donald Trump not been the disaster that he is in trying to make sure that we could flatten the curve and ensure that people could responsibly circulate slowly. We could have had 2 in-person conventions, and the blame for that lies at his feet because he refuses to lead and actually make sure that we can take care of people and do his job.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, on the upside, we can be there in our pajamas. So there's
Or
always a silver
sweatpants.
lining. Appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much.
Last day of early voting today.
Yes.
The polls are open till 5 o'clock.
We understand.
Turn in your ballot as well, because that you can drop it off at any bin, at any early vote site in Broward and Miami-Dade County. Don't put it in the mail at this point. Make sure you drop it in that bin at early vote or vote on election day.
Thanks so much.
Good advice.
Good to see you.